Hey there, Patriots. Do you remember when Ilhan Omar said this?
Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive.
Well, it seems like the Somalian community are the only ones that are thriving because of all the fraud that they have been committing. But there's a story that's gone under the radar that I came across last night, and it happened back in August in Tennessee. Want to know what I'm talking about? Want to see how these supposed Somalians are helping America thrive? Here we go. Hey there, Patriots. This is Troutlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. This video that I'm putting together is going to be a quick video. I'm going to play a video and I got to read two articles to you right quick. It seems like something happened in Tennessee back in August, okay, by a Somali immigrant that the news basically just, I guess you can say, ignored it. But yet you have people like Ilhan Omar claiming that Somalians, okay, are helping America thrive. Meanwhile, we already know what's going on in Minnesota with all the fraud, the billions and billions of dollars in fraud. But also you have people on the left in Tennessee fighting ICE because they don't want ICE to go down to Tennessee and start scooping up illegal migrants. Okay? But I came across this story last night, so brace yourself. If you don't have the stomach, I'm giving you a fair warning right now. But this one Somalian guy, all right, did one of the most heinous things that any man could do. And it baffles me the way the media has basically put a damper on this situation. Okay, and it's sickening. So fair warning, I'm already telling you guys, I'm gonna play this video clip and then I'm gonna read two articles about what went down. I believe it was August 15th, but now it's resurfacing now as of December 4th. Check this out.
Story. On the steps of a church in South Nashville, a woman died after being sexually assaulted while she was unconscious.
Our Dryden Quigley talked to people who work just feet away from where this happened.
It was actually the Nashville Fire Department that was driving by around 9:30 last night when they saw the sexual assault taking place right here on these church steps. Security video that they have captured everything that led up to it. Just before this, police say the church's cameras show a woman walking unsteadily towards the steps. A man who they say is 39-year-old Mohammed sits down beside her and tries to touch her as she pushes him away. Then they say she starts to go in and out of consciousness. That's when Mohammed picks her up, then repeatedly assaults her. The fire department stepped in and she was taken to the hospital where she died.
Sad for her, obviously, and then just a little concerned for, you know, what might be going on in the neighborhood after hours.
Paul Johnson has worked across the street for 10 years and says there's rarely police activity here, so this came as a shock.
It's just kind of disturbing to hear something like that happened, you know, sometime at night after we're gone.
He's thankful to work around the corner from a fire station and that those firefighters were on alert and stopped the assault, even if they couldn't save her life.
They're the first ones to get here and to respond if someone's intoxicated or whatever, and they've come and helped, and they're very responsive, they're very quick.
Mohammed is being held on a $300,000 bond. Police are still trying to determine the woman's cause of death. In South Nashville, Dryden Quigley, WSMV4.
A pretty troubling story. On the steps of a church.
Okay. Now this video clip, this news clip is only 1:04, people. Okay. And I don't know if any of you have heard of this that happened. I sure didn't. Okay, but it's making the rounds on the internet again, especially in light of what's going on with the Somalian community, where Ilhan Omar says, you know, that they contribute to America. Right. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory on this real quick before I read the article. So like I said, just brace yourself for what you're going to hear. Okay, because it's really going to piss you off. And in all honesty, I'm putting out this video because this is something, these are the things that need to be spoken about and need to let and people need to be aware of what the hell is going on with many of these illegals coming into America. Okay, but it seems like the video that I put out 2 nights ago barely got any traction again. Like I said a few videos ago, it seems like whenever I make these videos, whenever it pertains to the left, whenever it pertains to illegal immigrants, they don't get a lot of traction. But you know what? I'm done. No matter what I do to clean up my videos, no matter what I do to push them out, it just seems for some odd reason the algorithm doesn't want stories like this going out. But I'm going to push this out. And if you're watching the video, copy and paste the link, put it on your Instagram, put it on your Facebook, put it on X, put it on anywhere that you have a social media account, so people could understand, and so these people on the left, especially in Tennessee, could understand what the hell is going on every time you go out there and you're trying to stop ICE from doing their job. Okay? But let's get to the article, and I'll show you guys some more what I'm talking about. Here we go. Okay, now here we go. It says here, this was put out by Radar. Okay? Nashville woman raped and left to die on church steps by Somali predator with 16 prior sexual assault charges. Did anybody hear that on the news clip? Did anybody hear this on any news clip in the past couple of months? You would think that this would be plastered all over the news. And it wasn't. This man right here, Muhammad, like he couldn't get any more fucking original with his name. Okay? This piece of shit right here took advantage of a woman who was basically trying to find refuge on the steps of a church. And he has 16 prior sexual assault charges, and he was able to do it one more time, which caused a woman to die. A homeless woman at that. As if that poor woman didn't have enough going on in her life, this piece of shit, okay, had to go and finish it. But yet you have all these people on the left in Tennessee protesting ICE. You have judges in Tennessee who have let this man out over and over and over again, 16 times. And because of their sanctuary city status, because of their leftist agenda, because of people like Ilhan Omar, okay, this man went and took someone's life. Another immigrant took another American's life. And we really don't know if the woman is American, but another illegal immigrant took another life in America. We're going to read this. Let me maximize this. It says, as President Trump continues to rage against illegal Somalis in the United States, anti-immigrant groups are pointing a finger at one particular migrant from the African country charged with rape in Nashville. Okay, RadarOnline.com can report. According to reports, the illegal immigrant is a repeat offender with 16 prior charges for sexual battery, incident exposure, trespassing, drug offenses, and more. Okay. Police in Nashville have charged Muhammad, 39, with 4 counts of rape for sexually assaulting a homeless woman multiple times in front of a church. The woman was transported to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where she died shortly after arrival. Officials said in a statement, surveillance video shows the victim by herself walking unsteadily toward the front steps of the church. She was unable to keep her balance and sat down on a step, appearing to be under the influence of some type of substance. Listen, regardless of what she was under, okay, no one has the right to take advantage of someone when they're under the influence. You know, I am so damn shocked that you people on the left talk so much about women's rights, talk so much about men being toxic, talk so much about women being taken advantage of, and yet this illegal prick came into the country, has been committing crimes, has been let out on the street, went and took advantage of a woman who they think was under the influence of some substance, took advantage of her, repeatedly raped her, and she wound up dying in the hospital. Yeah, I'm letting it all out on this one. That's where Muhammad approached her and sat down next to her. Muhammad made physical contact with the victim as she went in and out of consciousness, as she tried to push him away. The statement continued. He ultimately lifted her off the steps, put her on the ground, and repeatedly sexually assaulted her. A fire department crew on their way to a call saw the sexual assault and confronted Muhammad, who was attempting to pull up the unconscious victim's pants, per the report. Okay, let's continue. Amy Meck, founder of the Rise, Align, Ignite Racism, RAIR Foundation, lashed out on X over the repeated second chances given to Muhammad. Despite raping a woman to death, the judge said just $75,000 bond per rape charge, meaning he could have walked free again. The only thing stopping his release was an ICE detainer. She tweeted, "This wasn't an accident. It was the dire result of judges, prosecutors, and politicians choosing leniency over public safety. Tennessee voters must choose differently." And this is why I have a problem with judges not losing their seat. This is why I have a problem with judges not being held accountable and being fired. We are hearing about this all too often, especially with illegal migrants. Never mind the homegrown criminals who they're letting out repeatedly. Never mind people like Letitia James, district attorneys, okay, people like Alvin Bragg, who set these rules and laws where they just let people out on no cash bail. They are putting people in danger, whether you're homeless or not, whether you're an American or not. They are putting people's lives in danger. And it always ends up being that the final straw is when they take someone's life. This sickens me. Excuse me. The online outcry comes as President Trump sporadically tuned his anti-immigration attacks on Somalia, while also attacking some of his political opponents like Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minnesota Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar during a recent cabinet meeting. I think that Walz is a grossly incompetent man. There's something wrong with him, okay? There's something wrong with them, Trump rambled. And when you look at what he's doing with Somalia, where Somalia, which is barely a country, you know they have no anything. They just run around killing each other. There's no structure. Trump then doubled down on his displeasure for the foreign nation. Okay, we all heard him say this before. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our society. I'll be honest with you. The politician added, okay, somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country is no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. Okay, I'm just going to read that part of that article because there's a lot more. Okay, but just for sake of time, I'm going to jump to the next article. You know, it is just, it's so sickening, people. It's just so sickening that this has happened and it's gone under the radar, and all you have is Ilhan Omar crying. Okay, Ilhan Omar crying, saying that, you know what, when they asked her the question, what you know, the majority of the crime being committed with all that fraud in Minnesota is mostly done by Somalis. Out of the 78 people that they arrested, supposedly 77 was Somali and 1 was not. And her response to that is, well, that's the FBI's fault. We're not asking whose fault it was. We're asking, why do you make it seem as if the Somali community, where they say that 88% of them are collecting some type of social benefits, social services, welfare, food stamps, housing vouchers, why is it that a community of nearly 100,000, 88% of them are on some form of government assistance? That doesn't seem like fraud to you? Well, you know what? That's the FBI's fault. Taking no accountability. But yet, she's got the damn nerve to go and say that Somalians contribute to America. They are no threat to America. But now more news is coming out that the number, that the amount of money is not one between, if at first they said it was $1 billion, now they're saying up to $2 billion, now they're saying that's false. The more information is coming out, they're talking about nearly $8 billion. And where the majority, if not all of that money, has gone to Somalia to fund a terrorist group. And you expect me to think, you expect me to believe that if the people in the Somalian community are doing this, whether it's 1, 10, 1,000, 10,000, you expect me to believe that's not a threat to America? With what this man did in Tennessee to this poor woman, like I said, who was already down on her luck, you expect me, and then once again, people, once again, no outcry from the Muslim community. No protest from the left for this poor woman, especially in Tennessee. You people in Tennessee will go out there and protest ICE, but you won't go out there and protest what this man did to this woman. One of your own, possibly. This is horrible. This is just straight up horrible, people. It says, judges who released Somali migrant accused of shocking crime claim they are the real victims. You believe that? They are the real victims, right? It says it was one of the more unsettling stories to hit the headlines this year, and it only got worse the more that was revealed about it. A Somali migrant by the name of Muhammad A. Muhammad was arrested back in August and charged with 4 counts of rape after he allegedly, why do I always say allegedly? You got him on video. You have witnesses there. And here's another thing that I want to throw in. Where was the praise for the fire department, for the firefighters that went and stopped this crime? You didn't even hear about that. You didn't even hear about 4 firemen or whatever the case was. I don't know how many it was. Firefighters stopped a man from raping a victim, whatever the case is. We didn't even hear about that. We didn't even hear about that. And yet you people on the left are always talking this bullshit about, oh, that people on the right, they're controlling the media. Really? You don't think that if the right was controlling the media, this would be plastered all over the media? No, I have to find this information from another third or fourth stream news agency called Red State. No offense towards them, I'm just saying. They're not on the mainstream. But yeah, who controls Tennessee? Who's out there protesting for all the illegal immigrants? Who's out there battling against ICE? Not only in Tennessee, but in all the blue states. Oh man, where are we? Okay, let me go before I lose it. I'll start again. A Somali migrant by the name of Muhammad A. Muhammad was arrested back in August and charged with 4 counts of rape after he allegedly, after he sexually assaulted an unconscious woman on the steps of a Nashville church. And in front of a church, you godless son of a bitch. I told you people, I was going to lose it on this one. You're just an evil, demonic piece of shit. The woman, who was believed to be homeless, died soon after being taken to a local hospital for treatment. It's become known as the raped to death case, but as we are finding all too often these days, it could have been prevented if Muhammad had been held accountable for a series of crimes, at least 12 by some estimates, he had committed since coming to the United States. Republican Representative Andy Ogles, Tennessee, District 5, detailed the litany of prior charges against Muhammad, including driving infractions, criminal trespassing, public intoxication, and public indecency, all of which were dismissed by a series of judges aligned with the Democrat Party. Excuse me. And it's so funny that President Trump put out a statement yesterday. I didn't know about something called the blue card, meaning that the Democrats have put out these laws that nobody can take away, where they're hiring the district attorneys and the judges and all that, and nobody can get rid of them. I have to look more into that, but President Trump put that out last night. Okay, when he was asked a couple of questions during a press conference, and he says that he thinks that he knows it's bad and it's dangerous. Why do the Democrats have the power, something called the blue card, or something blue, where they're the ones putting in all these leftist judges, district attorneys, and none of them are being held accountable, and none of them could be fired? It's sickening. Like I said, I'm gonna look into that a little bit more. But that, I mean, and it just makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And why the Republicans in Congress are not pushing back against something like that. So like that, judges like this, these left-leaning judges, can be ousted. They are a detriment to society. In a recent post on X, Oguz names and shames the judges who allowed Muhammad to be free to walk the streets of Nashville and commit these heinous acts. Those judges are now claiming that they're the real victims here, and have jointly written a letter to Tennessee's Republican Governor Bill Lee, asking that state funds be allocated for their security, and declaring Oguz's tweet was violent rhetoric that could embolden the most extreme elements and lead to tragic consequences. Well, you know what? Listen, we don't want anybody getting hurt. Okay? But you people did a job. They got people hurt. They got somebody killed. Why should you not be shamed? Why should you take from the taxpayers, go and ask that the state should take taxpayer money to give you more security when you did not take into regard the security of innocent civilians by letting this piece of shit out in the street, and he went and he killed a woman? They added, we urge the state to take appropriate action to counter the dangerous and inflammatory rhetoric issued by Mr. Oguz. Tennessee must not become the site of the next preventable tragedy. But it already did. It already did. This is why the Republican congressman is putting out this tweet, because between all of you, you let this man out over and over and over again, and he kept committing crimes, and it wound up costing an innocent woman her life. And you want to talk about that it could be the next preventable tragedy? Tennessee must not become the site of the next preventable tragedy. You let tragedies happen. You let this man out. You could have worked with ICE and gave this man up. And you didn't. You kept letting him go. And it cost the innocent woman her life, regardless if she was homeless, regardless if she was rich, regardless if she was an immigrant or not. It cost a woman her dear life. And you bastards, sitting behind a bench with your damn robe, made the call to let this man out. Again. I'll read a little more and then we'll end the video. It says, oh, the irony. No mention, of course, of their own actors, leading to tragic consequences. Preventable tragedy indeed. No apologies either to the family of the dead woman, as noted by Oguz in a follow-up tweet. Instead of apologizing to the family of that young woman who was raped to death, instead of apologizing to the people of Nashville, these judges have the gall to publicly complain about my oversight and call it dangerous rhetoric. It's insane, people. It's insane. If you guys want to read the rest of the article, go on Red State and look it up. I, for the life of me, cannot understand how many more people have to be victims to these illegal immigrants, and you people on the left don't say a damn thing. All you do is keep going out there and you're attacking ICE. You're fighting ICE. There's another video, and I'll end the video. I'll end this video. There's another video circulating. Okay. I don't know where it's at. I believe it's in I may be wrong. Okay. New Mexico or whatever. I may be wrong. But it shows this kid bragging on TikTok of how he is part of a neighborhood watch. Okay. So when ICE shows up, they can warn people. Then it shows ICE showing up. There's people fighting with ICE. I mean, physically. And here's the thing. It's not even ICE. Okay. I believe it's DHS or ATF. They're looking for somebody who's wanted for committing crimes. I believe something to do with drugs and gang activity. And these people are fighting. They're actually trying to help the gang member, the drug dealer, get away from ICE. It's a new video that's circulating social media. I keep saying ICE. They're not fighting ICE. They're fighting, I believe it's DHS or ATF. ICE is not even on the scene. And yet these people are fighting, trying to help that man get away. Where's your protest, people, for this woman, for her justice? Where's her justice? I don't even want to imagine what this poor woman was going through, the weakness that she was going through, because it says that she tried to fight back. It shows it on surveillance. If those firefighters won't be, and here's the thing, they were called out on a call and they seen what happened. If that call would have never came in, I mean, the inevitable was going to happen anyway. That man was going to do what he wanted to do, and he did. But what I'm saying is, if the fire department didn't go by and that man finished and walked away, he would have left that woman, that poor woman, dead on the steps to a church. But I know you Muslims in the Muslim community, I know you don't give a shit. Because you don't believe in God. You don't believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. You believe in a demonic being. That's what you believe in. So it doesn't matter to you. But where are all you people on the left fighting for this woman's justice? Fighting for those judges not to let out any more criminals, regardless if they're homegrown or illegal. You won't do it. You won't do it. And it's sad. It's really sad, because this is somebody's daughter. Possibly could have been somebody's wife, somebody's mother. Whatever the case is, somebody's best friend at some point. And just like that, and I know some of you are going to say, well, she chose that life. No. Regardless of what she chose, she did not choose what this man did. Isn't that what all you people on the left always talk about? No means no. Did he listen? No. Did he stop? No. I couldn't really find the woman's name, but keep her in your prayers and her family and friends, okay? And pray that justice is served. This is insane, people, and it's sickening. It's really sickening that this poor woman, regardless of she was going through her life, down and out, and again, this piece of shit who should have been slingshot out of the country a long time ago was let into the country, did nothing to contribute to the country but commit crime after crime after crime. And yet you have people like Ilhan Omar saying, oh, the Somalians contribute. You got the left saying, oh, not all illegals are criminals. You people are pushing a rhetoric that's dangerous. But it's funny that every single time something on the news comes on, nobody wants to talk about it. I can't even get a simple 1, 2, 300 views on my videos when I put this stuff out. It's not going to go away. The facts are not going to go away. The truth is not going to go away. Okay? So like I said, people, please give this video a thumbs up. Leave your comments. Copy and paste the link. Pass it around. We need to get stories like this going. It's a shame that this happened back in August and now it's making its rounds on the internet starting on December 4th. And nowhere. I mean, I tried to find it on Fox, and there was supposedly like also a 1 minute clip or whatever. And when I clicked on the link, it was something totally different. So I'm like, all right, I had to go and look for these. Like I said, Red State was this one. This one is Radar. The link that I found on YouTube was WSMV4 Nashville, and this was only a minute and 4 seconds. If this is not a disservice to you people in Nashville, Tennessee, I don't know what is. I truly don't. I just don't. If this is not a disservice to Americans, to just human beings, since all you people on the left talk about where's the humanity, yeah, you're right. Where is the humanity? Where was the humanity for this poor woman? Nowhere. It was taken from her. Again, by judges who feel that, you know what? They have the power. They can't be fired. They can't be held accountable. They don't care who gets hurt. And that is the MO over and over and over again from people on the left. Like I keep telling everybody. They don't care about you. They don't care about illegals. All they care is about staying in power and making that money. That's it. That's it. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. So remember, people, stay vigilant. Keep praying for each other. Keep praying for the women and the children. Pray for this country. Pray for your enemies. Pray for President Trump. Pray for this poor woman and her family and friends. And pray for all the missing children that they brought across the border. Peace.